What's happening, everyone? Nicky Hawkins here, West Ham Fan TV, back once again with another West Ham Fan TV live, the Total West Ham show with me and my old pal Ryan Archer. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, not bad, mate. You?
Yeah. Once again, with another Jesus, I've got a little bit of echo there. What's going on now?
I don't think it's live, is it?
Yeah, it should be live.
Oh yeah, it's live now.
So it should be live.
Do the intro again.
How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. Yeah, busy day. Just got home. We was meant to start 8, but traffic.
It is 8. Oh no, sorry, it's 8:30, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 8:30, mate.
Can you see the chat?
Huh?
I can't see the chat.
Yeah, I can see the chat.
Okay, you can keep an eye on the chat today.
Henry London says, "You all right, geezer?"
All right, mate. How's it going?
I'll wait for his reply.
Yeah. So look, everything West Ham we talk about on this show, it doesn't matter what, past, present, future, whatever. What have you got for me today, Ryan? What can you what can we start with today?
I think we should start off with your video that you put out a little while ago about Hernandez.
Yeah, he's left, isn't he?
Well, no, he ain't left yet. Calm down. He ain't gone. He's
well, he looks like he's gone. I don't know where he was. I don't know where he was filming them videos for.
Yeah, that was a crazy little video, isn't he? He fancies himself as a bit of a YouTuber.
He to be honest with you, he looked very natural. Like he could have a career in that when he finishes football. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, we might be able to get him a job on here. He can take Scott's job. I ain't seen him for 3 weeks.
I don't know. No, there's no Claret mic. Look, I can see the chat now. KDS 88V. There's no Claret mic. This is a blue mic. I'm going to show you.
Thanks for spotting that out, Nick.
This is a blue mic. Yeah. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Claret and blue. I'm going to put Claret. I'm going to print it on now. So there's not going to be no Claret mic. Unless I get it all decored up, I'm sure I can give it to someone to decor it up. Yeah, so as I was saying, yeah, he seems like a natural YouTuber. He looks like he's been doing that vlogging business for a long time. Very natural in front of camera.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I ain't had a chance to see the video yet. It's I see in your video it's something to do with his having a new baby and that, and he's sort of vlogging that. Yeah,
he vlogged he vlogged the whole experience of having a new baby. So
I hope he was at the right end when he was vlogging in the hospital.
Oh, look, it's very, very heavily edited and very, very professionally edited as well. So there's definitely someone behind the scenes doing all of that stuff for him. Unless he's sort of into that thing. But I did realise as well that he's got a YouTube channel like where he's holding up PlayStation controllers. And he started that in April, so he might. There's going to be a channel there. But look, the big news coming out of the video was that he obviously sort of told everyone that what we already knew, sort of thing. That he's sort of like looking for a pathway out of the club, and he's getting agents now to look for a club. And West Ham have decided. Is that beneficial for everyone?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Because my headphones weren't in. I thought to myself, why is he so loud? I could hear you, but I realised my headphones weren't in, so it was coming out the iPad. So, fucking, I've had a mental day, mate. But yeah, as for Hernandez, look, I think it's refreshing that a striker's honest. If he wants to leave and he wants to play first team football elsewhere, then and he's agreed it with the club and Pellegrini's okayed it, then I'm all for it. I feel a bit sorry for him, really. I don't think he's really had a real chance at West Ham. He's never had a consistent run in the team. We was crying out for years for a natural goal scorer, and we got one. And I don't think we've used him right. We've relied so much on Arnautovic playing up top on his own. When he first signed, Bilic sort of threw him out on the wing. He didn't really have a chance under David Moyes. And once again, under Pellegrini, he's been a sub-player. So, no, look, if he wants to leave the club, then as long as we get a good deal or we bring someone in to replace him straight away, then good luck to him.
I mean, the club bought him in not for a big transfer fee, but on a lot of money. Do you think the board was thinking that these managers should get a bit more out of him? Because it just, I've always said this about him. He's got something about him that you know, he's built for a big club. He's built to have chances put on a plate for him. You know, in and around the boxes, there's very little better than him. But with a club like West Ham, especially like the troubles we've had over the last couple of years since he's joined, he's never going to get that sort of service that he gets at a Man United or a Real Madrid or even in Germany where he was. Do you think it was a mistake? Like in hindsight, it's easy to say, but do you think it was a mistake bringing him in?
No, I wouldn't say it was a mistake bringing him in. Slaven Bilic needed a goal scorer at the time, and I remember how excited we all was when we was linked with Hernandez, and when we finally signed him, when we see him holding up that shirt, we was all over the moon. We thought, oh, we're going to have a 20-goal a season striker here. But you're right what you're saying. When you play for a Man United and a Real Madrid, them sort of teams win more games than what they lose. So if he does go missing, he's got other world-class players around him. At West Ham, he was probably our standout big name, if you want to say it like that. I mean, up there with Arnautovic. And we didn't have players really at the time that was, when he started, that could feed him the ball. Because, as you know, he's never scored a goal outside the box. So that tells you one thing. He's always going to be in and around that 6-yard box poaching. So, look, I do feel a bit sorry for him. But as I said, if he wants to leave the club, then fair play to him. At least he hasn't sort of thrown his toys out the pram. He's even turned around and said that if the club can't find a deal or he can't find a deal to suit him, he's happy to stay at West Ham for the rest of the year.
I did take that out of it, but it seems to be that bit was just inserted in there. I think he definitely knows he's going. Lee Davis in the chat says, how much would you take for Hernandez? How much should we be looking for him?
I mean, if I was West Ham, I'd be trying to use him as part of a deal for Maxi Gomez. If he wants to go to Spain, I think it's perfect. But if we was looking for cash, I think you're looking at around between 8 and 10 million for him.
I would say that would be fair.
Yeah, I don't think we'd get much more than that for him. He's 31. If we're going to get big money for him, then you're looking at probably a China team coming in for him or a team from America. But I think he's got his heart set on going to Spain. So as I said, use him for the Maxi Gomez deal.
Listen, there's not for this year, but for next year, definitely. There's a brand new. The dog's going crazy. There's a brand new David Beckham franchise out there, Miami. He'd do well in Miami. Big Mexican following out there. I mean, at the end of the day, he's a Mexican legend. See, that if I was West Ham, that's where I would be asking him to sort of like look at like America, Los Angeles, something like that, somewhere with a big man. Because I think you could maximize the amount of money you could sell him for, if that makes sense.
No, I definitely agree. And obviously, he knows David Beckham, so it'd make perfect sense. But I don't think West Ham need to bring someone in before they can afford to let Hernandez go. Because if they let him go, that just leaves Marko Arnautovic as our main striker, and he's not. We're not even 100% sure he's going to be here. So it's a risky game to play. But at the moment, look, if Pellegrini wants to let him go, then as I said, we've got to trust Pellegrini and. Hopefully he gets a couple of strikers in before deadline day. Lee
Davis just said that Miami team want Luis Suarez. Nate Hicks has donated £5. Thank you very much, Nate. I appreciate that, mate.
I wouldn't mind Luis Suarez.
Yeah, I mean...
Did you see him last night?
Who, Luis Suarez?
Yeah.
No.
The geezer's lost the plot. He was in the penalty box. He went to cross it. The goalkeeper's saved it, and he's claimed for a penalty saying handball. Then a fan ran on the pitch. The opposition team player tripped the fan over. Luis Suarez ran to the ref, telling him to book him.
Oh God, he has always been a bit of rag, isn't he? Andrew Bays would have to sign someone that is as clutch as Chicha. He can change the tide of the game in a limited amount of time, and we need someone with a similar finishing prowess as him. One thing I would say about that, Andrew, is them people don't come cheap. Fat Shad Q, I think that's Fat Shack 34. Any news about a striker? Because I'm getting worried now. We need a good striker to hit 7th in the league, maybe a long cup run. Come on your hands.
I like that question from Tom S.
Go on.
Oi, Nicky and Ryan, you boys are dons. Quick questions. Who would look better in a wig, Dan or Graham? It depends what sort of wig.
Graham's already got syrup.
I can see Graham in a nice little Tony Tucker wig from Rise of the Foot Soldier.
Yeah.
Or a Pat Butcher wig.
I reckon Dan would look Funny. Imagine him with a wig on. Nice little bob wig. Maxi Della Vigna, can we just buy some League One and League Two English superstars? We may just end up buying them back for 50 million from German clubs.
Well, I mean, talking of Graham has 2 syrups for eyebrows. I think that's the funniest comment I've ever seen.
Oh, God.
Oh, fuck. What was I going to say? All
no
right.
Swearing, no swearing, we're live.
Sorry. Oh, yeah, we're live on Channel 5. 4, please do not swear. This ain't Big Brother.
Go on, what were you going to say? Come on.
Right.
We're going to lose all the viewers are going to tune out.
Right, strikers. Today I see we was linked with Rondon. Apparently we made a £10 million bid plus Jordan Hugel and Sam Byram, which was rejected. I'll be honest with you. If we could get Rondon in, I think he'd be a great addition to the squad. I really do. I prefer him more than... I mean, Mitrovic, they're talking about £30 million for him. I won't pay that. I think ain't Rondon got a release clause of about 15 million or something?
I think it might be 16 million.
Well, yeah, I think he'd be an ideal replacement for Andy Carroll.
Yeah, I mean, we need strikers at the end of the day. It looks like we're going to need more than one now. You know what I mean? Because let's be honest, Arnautovic ain't even a proper striker, and we don't know what sort of mood he's going to be in. Who knows? You know what I mean? I've always liked Rondon. I've admired Rondon since his West Brom days. I think he's a very underrated striker. He does a lot off the ball. He's a good hold up player. He's quite quick and he's good in the air. There's not much more to his game. I'm not going to say he's like some sort of like superstar, but he'll get goals. You know what I mean? And we're starting to sign a few players that might be able to put them on plates for people, which is a little bit why I'm a little bit disappointed that Cheech is going, because I've been watching Pablo Fornals in that under-21 tournament, mate, and he looks mustard.
Yeah, do you know what? I was speaking to one of my mates today, and he was saying that West Ham signing that 4-0 could turn out to be one of the signings of the summer. He looks an absolute, from what I've seen of him so far in the under-21s for Spain, it looks 24 million well spent. Listen, don't get me wrong, the Premier League's a totally different kettle of fish. You know, he's going to come here and he's going to find it tough at first because just to get up to pace. But once he settles in, I think he's going to be a hell of a player. Ben
Davis is saying £14.5 million for Rondon. Maxi Delavine is saying, is Rondon an English superstar from League 1 and 2? Because I think that's what he said earlier. Henry Hudson, spot on. Rondon done bits for Newcastle last season. Neil Hogan, morning from down under. Well, it's 5:10 in the morning here for South Australia. Thanks for staying up, mate. I appreciate that.
Or really getting up.
Yeah, or getting up or whatever you did, yeah. Ryan gives a wave. Someone saying re-sign Carroll.
Yeah, do you know what? I mean, this Andy Carroll, I was thinking about this the other day. I think there's something still in Andy Carroll. Like, I could see us maybe ending a transfer window, maybe giving him a pay-as-you-play deal if he hasn't got a club. Personally, I think we should just move on. But if he comes in, has a good pre-season, keeps himself fit, which is a tough thing to say, keep himself fit, you never know. But I hope we've moved on and Andy Carroll does find himself a new club.
Yeah, I think it'd suit a championship club. I think even when he came back last year, the thing is about Carroll is when he's come back in the past, he's always looked lively. Last season, he just seems to look like his legs are gone to me, and I think he's got to drop down a level. Dean Martin says Carroll is a leech that will not go away. Michael Papa says buy Carlton Cole. I'm sure we own him.
Yeah, I think that Carlton Cole's the same, wasn't he? I think we signed him about 10 times.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Luke 123. I knew this was going to come up. Should we re-sign Payet?
I think we spoke about this last week, didn't we? And I made my feelings clear on it. I think just like Andy Carroll, I think you just got to move on. Look, Payet is a great player, but I just don't think the majority of the fans will take to him. I mean, don't get me wrong. If he come in and he settled in and he was whipping free kicks in and he was like the old Payet, us football fans are fickle. We'll all be getting his name on the back of the shirt and loving him again. But you always have that little worry is if he has another good few months or a good season and he decides that he wants to move on again or his wife wants to move on, he's got to chase after and be a good boy, you know. So I just think that me personally, I wouldn't want him back. But football's a funny game. I've seen some strange things in football, and I couldn't imagine him back in a West Ham shirt.
Well, first things first, I can't see him going to the Championship. Not just yet. He's only 32. I don't know. We know the qualities he possesses, but as the comments are coming in now. Look, Fat Shack 34 Snake, Abu Aliyah, too much wages, not worth it financially either, which is another thing you've got to consider. Lee Davis, Payet's fat and useless now.
See, someone's just chucked something in there quickly. I was going to mention him as well, but I've just seen his name come out there. Batshuayi. But the thing is with Batshuayi, I know his loan deal's just ended at Palace, but I think he's going to have a big opportunity at Chelsea next season, well, for the next 2 years, because it looks like Frank Lampard's going there now.
Yeah.
They can't sign anyone for 2 years. Frank Lampard's got a tough job. He's got to bring through the youth. They know the youth because Jody Morris worked there. But Batshuayi could be a big player for Chelsea. So I can see him staying at Chelsea. But at the moment, he would be a good... I think he done well at Crystal Palace. He got some important goals from him, but I think he's going to be at Chelsea.
Well, they're not going to have a lot of choice, are they? They haven't signed anyone because they can't sign anyone.
No.
It's one of them things, isn't it? We've been linked with him, thank you, for the last... It seems like about 20 transfer windows, and he's turned us down for Chelsea, he's turned us down for Palace, and he's going to get a big chance at Chelsea next year. But I'll be honest, not for me. You know what I mean? There's a couple of players like in the past who, I've been like absolutely slating us for not signing. People like Scott Hogan, you know what I mean? And like it just shows I'm really, really wrong. You know what I mean? Like when you look at where these players are now, and Batshuayi is one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm waiting for the Charlie Austin links to start again soon.
Yeah.
But there's a few names that people are chucking. I mean, it's just literally breaking on Sky Sports News now. Andre Gomez has just signed for Everton for 22 million. That's an absolute steal. We was linked with him, but he had his heart set on Everton. So
yeah,
you can never really have a go at a player for choosing another club, because if that's the road they want to take in their career, then you can only say.
Yeah, you do got to think that sometimes, like, they don't owe us anything. You know what I mean? Like, especially like Batshuayi, because it seems like we get linked with him every transfer window, and there's all people on. We know he's a big social media person as well, and there's people just slating him left, right, and centre because he chose Chelsea. Yeah,
you always have a little bit of a bitterness towards a player when they choose another club over yours, because you obviously love we love our club and we think it's the best club in the world. It's just one of them things with football. It's a job to them at the end of the day. It's like us. If we work for Sainsbury's and then the job comes up at Tesco's and it's better money, you're going to go to Tesco.
Yeah, of course. What about Martial? Should we sign him? Says Big Man. No chance.
I'd love Martial.
So would I. Michael Papa says, should we try and sign Abraham? Same boat, really, at Chelsea. He's going to be at Chelsea next year, and I think he's going to get chances. Adi Bayor's name pops up. We'll talk about him in a minute. Abraham.
Do we have to?
Well, it's going to be brief, mate. It's a Sun story. I'm going to say no more than that. No more than that. It's absolute nonsense. It's absolute pudding, to be quite honest with you. Moussa Dembele from Lyon, formerly of Celtic, should we get him for 25 million?
Moussa Dembele he's a great striker. He was the one. He played for Fulham, didn't he? And then he went on to Celtic, scored bundles of goals. I think he's been doing well at Lyon. 25 million for someone like him is something that West Ham, if they want to progress into get into Europe, that's the sort of striker you should be looking at.
We were linked with him when he was at Celtic, weren't we?
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't been linked with a lot more top clubs. He sort of like like an Arsenal or someone like that, because
Yeah, he would suit Arsenal.
he could fit into even Manchester United could do with someone like him. But forget them. I'd love to see him at West Ham.
What else have we seen this today? Look, it's all coming up. Look, once we get started talking about transfers, and it's always strikers, you know what I mean? Tierney, which is one that we've been linked with.
Who's that? Celtic left back.
Celtic left back, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's sort of a done deal with Arsenal.
Yeah, he's a good player though.
Yeah, great player.
I don't think we're looking for fullbacks, if I'm honest with you.
No, we need another central midfielder, a strong central midfielder. I definitely need 2, maybe 3 strikers in this transfer window.
Right, I'm going to pop something in for the chat and for you, just to have a little think about. Who do you think, in your opinion, is the best player, or the player that's most value for money that we've signed? I'm not going to go back past Premier League because I don't remember a lot past Premier League, but in the Premier League era, who is the best player that we've signed that's value for money?
Do you want me to answer?
Yeah, if you want, yeah, you can answer yours. We'll put this over to the chat as well and see what they come up with as we're chatting.
Yeah, for me, value for money, there's only one man, that's Paolo Di Canio. What was it, 1.75 million?
Now, I've got another one, right? Tucker, this is where the trolls come in. Haha, this is comedy at its best. West Ham thinking they could sign Martial, Dembele, Abraham. Ha ha ha. You'll never get. You'll get another Evra, Nasri, or Wilshere. You seem to forget your West Ham.
The problem is we didn't say we was going to sign them.
No.
We said they're great players and we'd love to see them at West Ham, but we know we ain't going to sign them.
I'm going to put him in a timeout.
Put him in the sin bin.
My one, right? My one. We've got loads of players coming up here, right? Lanzini, 4 million. Payet, Balbuena, 4 million. Payet or Di Canio. My one, Lomas has come up. My one, and shut up. My one is John Moncur, because he didn't cost us a penny, not 1p.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Look, yeah, John Moncur. But that's what I got a bit confused, because you said value for money, so I thought we had to spend a bit. If you want to chuck free transfers, yeah, mate.
Yeah.
No, there's been some great players down the years who we've signed for peanuts, and Harry Redknapp that was one thing he was good at, getting people for peanuts and selling them for monkey nuts.
Hartson, good one. Yeah, but it did cost a lot of money. That was a lot of money back in the day.
Yeah, you could look at John Hartson and Kitson for 5.5 million for both of them.
How much was Julian Dix? I think he was before Premier League, just before. And I think when we bought him back, I think we bought
300 grand, wasn't it?
300 grand initially.
Yeah.
But I think we sold him to Liverpool for something like 3 million and bought him back for 2 million, something like that.
You've also got Carlos Tevez that was the free. You know, in the end, he did end up costing us a lot of money.
Well, we don't know who he belonged to.
Nah, Kia Girard.
We ended up having to pay Sheffield United £25 million for him, and we only had him for a year.
And you look at Fabianski as well, 7 million. Great goalkeeper. Hammer of the year. Scott Parker was what? How much? 5 million, 6 million?
Yeah, Kevin, 6 million, yeah.
Kevin Nolan, who was a great captain for us, only cost 3.5.
3.5 million, yeah.
There's been some great bargains down the years, but we've wasted a lot of money as well. But I'm going to go with Paolo Di Canio just for he's an absolute legend, and he only cost us 1.75 million. Imagine what it'd cost in today's market. RP
Sports says, big fan of the channel. Do you think we need a right back and left back? I think we're lacking there at the moment.
I think we need cover at right back. I'd say, well, you say, I mean, we've got obviously Fredericks and Zabaleta and Ben Johnson who can play left or right back. So you've got Masuaku and Creswell. So if one of them was to leave, then obviously we've got to replace them. But at the moment, I mean, I don't know who's going to go into our season as first choice left back, because I thought Masuaku had a good end to the season, but Creswell for me is the better defender.
I agree, but I'm going to come back to this in a second. I do think that we need to invest a bit, maybe not this season, but a bit later on down the line when we've got everything sorted. I think that's a very important thing. They're still coming in. Michael Carrick, I think he come from our academy, mate. Michael Papa says Antonio. Jamie Bett says reply daily. I don't know. Christian Daly, I'm assuming. Darren Clarkson says Leroy Rossignol. Daly wasn't cheap, if I remember rightly. I think it was about 7 million quid, which was a lot of money at the time. Pricey Hammer says Dal Gordon. Terry Baston says Ginger Pele.
Disco Dal Gordon.
Disco Dal, yeah. Stinking Nat says Colton Cole. Cash Money, good shout here. Everton. I think he was about 2 million in the Defoe deal. Matty Holmes, Jordan Hugill.
That's a good one. That's a good shout. I mean, as long as he stays fit, Jack Wilshere could turn out to be a great signing, free transfer. You know, I've seen. I love. I mean, going off subject here. I mean, but I've been watching his videos on Instagram and that, and the effort he's putting in pre-season. He hasn't been on holidays, drinking and things like that. He's been grafting on his own and getting his fitness up. And the boys are back for pre-season training next week, and he's going to be obviously 2 steps ahead of some of them. I mean, you look at some of the players: Anderson, Antonio, Snodgrass. Quite a few of them have been keeping themselves in shape over the summer, and I suppose they have to in a way. But for me, I've been really impressed with Jack Wilshere, and I really hope, fingers crossed, that he can get fit, stay fit, play more games, and be an important player for us, because he is a great talent, despite what some people think. I mean, some people think he's a waste of space. He's not. He's a really good player, and he can be such an important player for us next season. Pellegrini rates him as well.
Don't jinx Wilshere, fall on his face, says from a 007. Yeah, I think look, Wilshere's obviously a talent. He's obviously a talent. You don't spend that many years at an Arsenal that are sort of winning trophies and, you know, keeping out, you know, superstars if you're rubbish. You know what I mean? He's a good English talent. He's 25. And that's what I think. 25, 26. That's what worries me a little bit, because he's getting to the point now where he spent ever since he was 19 on the injury table. You know, there's always been sort of talk about Andy Carroll, about why he was injured so much. You know, not looking after himself has been mentioned a long time. Hopefully, that sort of period in his life may be coming to an end, where, you know, he's not so young anymore. He's applying himself a bit better. You know, I've seen pictures of him in the past smoking and things like that. Like, you know, things like that, they don't help with injuries. You know, diets don't help with injuries. And, you know, that's why people like Ronaldo, who is at the top of his game, you know, he looks like he's chiseled out of stone. He eats the right things. That's why you never see him with sort of long-term injuries. You know what I mean? Look, because it's about fitness, application, diet, lifestyle. And I think that's where a few of the youngsters fall down. Is that Davo Type R says no smoking. Yeah, that's why I've got a cough at the minute. And it's all about that. Hopefully, he's got to this point in his life and he starts to realise, you know, I've got 5 or 6, 7 years left at the top. You know, it's time to start knuckling down and, you know.
Yeah, as fans, the last thing you want to see is a player that's injured taking a mick away from the club. Like we've seen it with Andy Carroll a few times, as you said, but with Jack Wilshere, he just looks like he's really determined to get himself fit and stay fit, and he wants to be an important part of Pellegrini's plans next season. And I really, fingers crossed for him. I hope he can not so much force his way back into the England team as well, but mainly West Ham, because, as I said, he's a great talent, and yeah, I just wish him all the best for next season.
Amish chat in the room. I've seen this name knock up a few times, but we've been deep in conversation. Vaz Tay as the best ever.
Probably scored the most important goal for West Ham in the last 10 years.
Zamora.
Yeah,
he was next to nothing, wasn't he?
he was a
You know
free.
what I mean?
Was he a free transfer? Wasn't he?
I think he come as the Defoe deal, didn't he? With
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Richie Van Rock. Nicky, will we finish above Spurs this season?
Next.
Next, yeah. If you get paid £90,000 per week, you need to go gym 4 times a week and recover. Buy the top massage, chiro, physio, etc. Or chat. Don't forget to like the video. Yeah, if you can leave a like on this video, it helps us out greatly. Thank you very much for everyone for joining in. Should we try to get Origi? Now, someone mentioned Origi to me a little while ago.
Is that that's the Liverpool boy, isn't it?
Liverpool boy, yeah.
Yeah.
The one that scored the goal in the Champions League
Yeah.
final. I think he's going to force himself in. To be honest, I think he's forcing himself in. He's been on like the on the sort of cusp of the squad for first team for a long time. But he comes in and he scores important goal. I think Klopp likes him. I don't think you've got a chance of getting anyone like Origi. They want to add to their squad. They don't want to get unless I see they've been chasing Coutinho. Unless they get someone like him and try and shift sort of like a Mane or a Salah up front or something. I can't see him letting a striker go.
Yeah, well, if rumours are true, I mean, Real Madrid are looking at Mo Salah.
Yeah.
So if Salah was to leave Liverpool, that'd be a massive blow for Liverpool in their title chances next season. But Origi, as you said, I think he'd be a key player for him, and he scored some important goals for Liverpool last year. If anything, if they do, they'll probably loan him out, but it won't be into the Premier League. It'll be abroad, I reckon.
Someone's just come up with a fantastic comment in the chat. Fremmer007. I saw American Hammers interview Jack Collison, who said that Nathan Holland is ready now. False.
Yeah, I mean, Jack Collison speaks highly of Nathan Holland, and he's not the only one from the academy that speaks highly of him. And whether he's ready now, it'd be interesting to mix him in the games in pre-season, get him into the first team squad, which I can imagine a lot of the academy players will be out there with the first team for pre-season. But it's about, look, you can look good in under 23 games and things like that, but when you step up to the Premier League, it's totally different. But how can you judge someone when they don't get a chance? So
yeah,
you never know. He might get a chance. We got him. We got him from Everton, didn't we?
Yes.
He come from Everton. I know that Everton were gutted when they lost him.
Yeah.
And as I said, Jack Collinson, Paul Konchesky as well, I've heard speak highly of him. He's definitely a talent to look out for in the future.
There have been a few false dawns, though. We go back to Nuble, who was, thought of highly at Chelsea before he joined us, and he amounted to a career in the lower leagues. Freddie Sears was meant to be the next Tony Cottee. It amounted to a career in the lower leagues. We've just let Tony Martinez go. People like Zavon Hines, who was touted to be the next Jermaine Defoe. We let him go as well. So there has been a few false dawns. Elliot Lee.
Yeah, you got the other boy as well, in you, the Silva, the striker. I mean,
Silva, yeah.
I think did he get injured? He got injured, didn't he, towards the end of the last season?
I think he did, yeah.
And I know we've just let Samuelson go back out on loan.
Do you think he'll ever make it, Samuelson?
No, I think if you don't make it in the first three years at West Ham, if you don't get a chance, then I don't think you ever will. And I think that's proved it with like the likes of Monker, Potts, Elliot Lee over the past few years. I know we've just let Nathan Trott go out on loan as well to AFC Wimbledon, which I think would be good for him. It'd be good for a bit of experience for him. I think he's
go to most West Ham games, right? And I always see Nathan Trott. He's never been in the squad, I don't think. Maybe once or twice. He seems like he's been around forever. I honestly thought he was about 28.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's surprising that he hasn't got a chance. Maybe when I think it was a big blow for him when we got Adrian left the club and then we signed 2 goalkeepers. Trott must have been thinking to himself, "Am I ever going to get a chance?" I know he's highly thought of at West Ham, but obviously Pellegrini don't really, not that he don't rate him that much, but maybe just don't think he's ready. But as I said, how can these players get ready when they're not given a chance? And to bring in 2 goalkeepers, I mean, we brought in Martin and is it Roberto, or I can't remember his name now. Is Roberto? Is it Roberto? I can't even
Yeah,
remember.
it is Roberto. Yeah,
You
seems so
know,
long ago.
yeah, it's just
I've got to say a couple of thank yous for donations. Stinking Nat has donated 79p. Thank you very much for doing that. Fat Shack has donated 10 SEK.
20.
I don't know what that is. SEK, Swedish. And then he's donated then 20 Swedish pounds. Please, Fat Shack, please keep your money in your wallet. But thank you very much for donating. But, you know, don't do it too many times. We see you. We appreciate you. Please don't. You know, keep your money in your pocket. Maxi DeVillin, richest Swede from West Ham fan on YouTube. I see. Ha ha ha. I don't know what that means.
I think he means that the Swedish fans, the richest, keeps donating.
Yeah, they're rich. They're rich guys. They're expensive in Sweden, I think.
I mean, do you know what?
To,
just quickly, mate, before this one skips off the screen, Jamie B, an Everton fan. He says, all right, lads, I'm an Everton fan, but always had a soft spot for West Ham. But how do you think Everton will do this season? I think will be a battle between us two for Europe. Yeah, I totally agree. I think Everton going to have a great season next year. They're really building now.
Yeah.
They've got Silva, obviously. It was a mixed season for him last year, but he seemed to be getting it together at the end of the year. And as I said, they've just signed Gomez, who's going to be a major player from them. They've obviously got Gylfi Sigurdsson. Yeah, it'd be a great season. I'd love to see West Ham battling it out with Everton, because I think Everton are going to be up there. So if we're up there in the mix with Everton, we know we're doing well and we're having a good season.
Growing 3D perspective. Where's Dan? Where's Scott? That's what I want to know.
Dan's filming a wedding. Oh no, he filmed the wedding. He's editing the wedding. Wolves will get found out this season, says Emery Hudson. I don't know. Jason Waddup says, do you think we're getting value for money as season ticket holders? Look, we'll talk about this in a second, but there's been a lot about this socios and all this sort of stuff. People saying about, we're not, getting value for money. I don't think English fans in general get value for money. Now, we get I said to this I don't know, mate. If I was a Man City fan, I'd be happy.
No, I think in general, right? It's not like, what I'm trying to say is it's not just a West Ham problem; it's a football problem. Now, I was making examples to somebody. He was saying to me, "We don't get ripped off." Now, the cheapest ticket at West Ham is £289. Now, that is the cheapest, I believe, in the Premier League. I don't think. Oh no, it went up, didn't it? It went up to 300 and something. It went up to about £330. That is the cheapest in the Premier League. That is cheap, right? But I want you to just put that as a example. Now, bear in mind that people like Arsenal and that, you can't get them any cheaper than £1,000. Bear in mind, right, that Bayern Munich, you can buy a season ticket for Bayern Munich for €140. Yeah. And you can buy a season ticket for Real Madrid for £190. Now, put that into perspective. You know what I mean? These are teams that are the top of the top of the top. They're competing for European trophies. They're competing for leagues every season. And they're charging £140. And West Ham, who have not won a trophy in 40 years, we're going to get nowhere near the league and whatever. They're charging £300, yeah. And then you go up the leagues with like people like Arsenal. Arsenal haven't won the league in 15 years nearly, and they're charging their fans, £2,000-3,000, the highest in the Premier League. I honestly think it's ripping fans off, and that is why, like the socios, the socios thing is just a piss take. But we've covered that. We've covered it so many times. Abu Aliyah says Premier League fans think that they are more than they are. I think you might be. I think you might be right there. Bundesliga clubs are doing it right. They appreciate their fans. Last season, I went to Florence and watched Fiorentina for £15. Growing 3D perspective. Forever they should do them versus us lot here in the chat. I don't know what that means. Ryan Anderson, is there more that we can do as fans to stop the club from being associated with Socios? Really enjoyed your video on the subject. Yeah, I think the way to do it is to vote with your feet. You know, don't give them any don't give them any of your money. Growing 3D perspective forever. Something about Graham and his eyebrows. Rory Sullivan, we get rinsed by our loyalty to the clubs. The greed is out of control. And the thing is, the clubs here in the Prem really don't need our money with all the TV deals and sponsorship packages. And I think that's the thing, Ryan. They don't need it.
No, you're right. They don't need it, but they're businessmen. So any bit of money they can get out of us, unfortunately, it's what they can do. I mean, look, we know at West Ham they have been doing. I mean, what do we pay £550 for our season ticket? We've got decent seats, but then you go to other grounds. Like look at Tottenham. They charge like £2,000 for a season ticket.
Yeah,
you know. But then it's just. I think it's part of being in London as well.
Our season tickets. Let's be honest, though, right? Our season tickets are that cheap because we've just moved grounds. Popular opinion wasn't great, and that'll catch up to the rest.
Yeah, but even at the Boleyn, I remember you paid what £500-600. So it's. I just hope that they don't obviously because the thing is we can complain about our owners, but we could get new owners and they could put all the prices straight up.
Yeah, they could be worse. Yeah, you're right.
You know, so that could happen. So we could get new owners and we could be begging for Golden, Sullivan and Brady back just to put the prices down. But it's
Andy Wall said, mate, someone I know pays £900 at Spurs, 7 rows from the top of the South Stand. Yeah. As I said, it's a football problem. I think, like, you know, as fans, it's time to start to. Somebody said, why is the Premier League ripping off fans, and why is it different in the Bundesliga? I'll tell you why it's different in the Bundesliga. They are fan owned. They're 51% fan owned. I think it's a directive that come in Germany. I think there's only one club in the whole of the Bundesliga, if I'm right, that aren't owned 51% by the fans, and that's RB Leipzig. I think that's the Red Bull team, the franchise team, and I don't think they're very well received. Yeah, so that's why. Fat Shack, I tried to put my message in the first donation, but it didn't work, so I did one more time, and it worked, so no worries. Thank you very much. We do appreciate it.
Did you ever find out what happens with that money?
Apparently, it goes into an advert place or something. I don't know. Which goalkeeper is going to start pre-season? It's got to be Fabianski.
Yeah, sure. Fabianski is going to be our number one, no doubt about that. But it'd be nice to see the other two keepers, especially Roberto, who looks like he's going to be the main number two, if he gets some game time in pre-season. As you know, pre-season, they usually mix it up, don't they? 45 minutes each. So, yeah, it'd be interesting. I think the other goalkeeper, Martin's been brought in more of a coach. I know he's respected. Obviously, he's got the links with Alvin Martin being his dad. So, yeah, look, it was a bit weird that one, if I'm honest. I didn't see that one coming. But, well, none of us even see the Roberto one coming. So, yeah.
Andrew Bay says, speaking of tickets, what are your tips for someone coming to the London Stadium for a match for the first time, looking forward to see the Hammers for the first time this year? Thanks, and come on, you Irons. My tip is try and come along over to England if you can when there's a League Cup game, because I think that'd be in midweek, because I think that'll be your best chance of getting a ticket and at a reasonable price.
Would you take Sturridge on a free?
Well, no way, not in a million years. I don't see the point of letting someone go who's constantly injured to sign someone that's constantly injured. Surely the directive now should be pushing away from the players that are injured all the time. Do you know what I mean? Hammerchat says Fab might not be here for the start of pre-season due to the Nations League. That's true. Fat Shack 34. Oh no, I wouldn't. No, to answer your question, I wouldn't take him on a free. I wouldn't even take him if they paid us. Fat Shack 34. What are your thoughts on the City at home opener? Maybe a sweet 3 points. Come on, you irons.
Yeah, I mean, look, it is what it is, isn't it? It's Man City. You couldn't have picked a worse opponent, really. But yeah, look, opening day, anything can happen. I doubt it, I'll be honest. But if you're going to play City, our players are going to be fresh, up for it. New players are going to impress the home crowd. We've not had any luck against City at the London Stadium. I mean, they've put so many goals past us. I think they've beat us 4-1, 5-1, 4-0. It's ridiculous. So if we can get a point off of City now, I think a lot of West Ham fans would take that going into the next 4 games that are more winnable.
Tom S says, who's the best looking West Ham player?
The best looking West Ham player?
Yeah.
It worries. It's actually worrying me that I'm thinking about it. I don't know. I'd say Jack Wilshere. He's got a nice haircut.
Lanzini.
God, you didn't take long to think about that.
No, I've been thinking about it for years.
Straight in there with Lanzini.
Do you reckon
a little bit of argy-bargy?
Do you reckon any offers are going to come in for any offers going to come in for Declan Rice? Apparently, it did come in, and we told him to piss off. Michael Papa said, "Would you take Gal from Newcastle?"
Yeah. I don't think Dwight Gal is up. Well, I don't really want to say this because he's never really had a chance. I was going to say I don't think he's up to Premier League football, but he's never been given a chance. But he does well in the Championship, so I think that might be his level. Maybe go back to West Brom on loan under Bilic. I think he'll thrive under Bilic.
Oh, you're Dean Martin here. Ain't that a kick in the head? What's happening with Joan Jordan's situation?
I think we've sort of called interest on him, haven't we? I ain't seen many more links.
I've seen that we've completely pulled away from him. Mark Smith, when are you going to do another interview with Paolo Di Canio? I don't know. When I'm going to make, as I said before, I'm going to make it my mission to get an interview with him, a proper interview, even if I have to go to Italy to do it. Martin Shea, ugliest player is still Shamak, even though he's been gone for years.
I don't know. Carlos Tevez was up there.
Ian Dowie, mate. Darren Clarkson, Nicky, my missus just asked me if you got your mic from Ann Summers. Oh God. Right.
I think that's a Dwarfs one, isn't it?
Right, we're gonna have one more and then we're gonna start logging off. 2 more. Forever Bland Bubbles. If you did an interview with Arnie, what would be your first question?
Can I borrow some money?
Yeah, you got a fiver.
No, but it'd be like, I don't know. I'd probably say to him, look, Arnie, be straight. Is your heart in it? Is your heart in it at West Ham?
I'll tell you, who the fuck are you looking at? Realistically, how many players do you think we will sign? I reckon 3 or 4.
I think there'd be up to 5 players coming in. I think there'd be maybe a loan deal as well towards the end. But I reckon we're going to get within the next 2 weeks. I think one of our targets is going to be and it could be Maxi Gomez.
Yeah, I think we're going to. What are your thoughts on a baseball at the London Stadium?
Yeah, I see the pictures. It's quite impressive, really, how they've transformed the stadium. I mean, look, people are moaning about it. I don't know why they're moaning about it. We're not in the stadium during the summer, so
it's not our stadium. Yeah, but it's not ours. So
listen, they've not ripped the seats out. They've not transformed it where we can't play the first 3 games at home again. It's a couple of games of silly boys rounders, and then they can then we can get it back into football mode.
Listen, as I said, it's not ours, so they are free to do with it. When we don't, use it for football, they're free to do with it whatever they see fit. What a point that someone did make to me the other day is, he goes like, it took us 3 excuse me, it took us 3 years to get a carpet in there, or 2 years to get a carpet in there. and they've had like dirt bought in from America, they've had fencing bought in from Canada, and they got it all in there within a couple of days.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say. Yeah, look, I'm not going to the baseball. I know Nick Tucker at Crossed Hammers is going. He's a big fan of it, so he's going to.
I want to go to see it. I want to go. I've never been to baseball. I've had a like. Obviously, you see it in films and all that sort of stuff. I want to go and see what it's like. It's
I just want to go.
It's very expensive.
I can pass my money down the line and someone gives me a hot dog and sends it back like they do in the films. Because
mate, you're not in America, mate. This is London.
Yeah, that one. As soon as you whip that £10 note to the person next to you, they're off.
They're off. Yeah,
they're exactly. Going, mate. They're running down the bookies and putting a tenner on something.
If you want a sound stadium, pay more rent, says Satcher Jornet. That's right, mate. You are right. Baseball is basically rounders. I was good at rounders when I was a kid. Right, a couple more. Any chance I can take over from Dom on the interviews after games, Norfolk Hammers? You don't have to take over anyone, Gary Marks, mate. You can come over. Everyone is... this is a massive myth when it comes to West Ham. They think we have... West Ham Fan TV. They think we have... People think we have, like, certain people that we make sure we get on and, you know, everybody else is not welcome and, you know, it's like a closed door. It's not a closed door. It's never been a closed door. We talk to everybody that lines up and comes over and wants to talk to us. Every single person, and that you know, if we didn't, we'd be hypocrites, because that is the point of West Ham Fan TV, is to make sure that everybody does have a voice. That was the whole point of the thing in the first place. Yeah. We're a platform, and anyone can stand on it and get their voices heard.
I was just about to say, what a lot of people don't see on fan cams is behind the camera. We get a lot of people come over and they either speak to me or Dan or whoever's there off camera, but they don't want to go on camera. Some people don't want to go on camera because of their jobs and things like that, which is understandable. So we do try to get as many people as we can, but the regulars are always going to be there. And we thank the regulars for turning up week in, week out, because some of them get abuse and they could easily give it up. But no, we're looking forward to it. I mean, there's 7 weeks now until the start of the season. So it's...
Abu Elias says, respect Nicky. Connor United, he's asked this question a few times. Did you watch the cricket? I don't watch cricket at all. And I know you don't, Ryan, either. Dennis Wall, do you think the fans should have clappers to improve the atmosphere for the games?
Sorry, say that again.
Do you think the fans should have clappers to improve the atmosphere for games?
Nah, definitely not. Can you imagine clappers over West Ham? People kick off because we've got a bit of popcorn. Imagine what it'd be like when they turn up and the clappers are on the scene.
Yeah. Candyman, VAR will change the season for us. That's true. Liam Flannery, mate, you guys have some great randomers on West Ham Fan TV. Yeah. Contact light. I'm out, lads. Night, lads. Thanks for the stream. Good night, mate. Have a good night's sleep. Is Dom, grand perspective, is Dom really as angry as he comes across off cam? Yes.
He's just angry all the time, isn't he?
It's just one big angry ball.
Red rage, Red Ross.
Liam Flannery, you guys watching England women's? I have been, as it happens. Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on it.
Do you know what? I watched the Japan game, but the other games I'm always out, and I'm gutted because that Cameroon game the other night, from what I see the highlights of it, it looked a really good, like, mental game. But England, look, they've got Norway Thursday night. So it'd be interesting, you know, if England can get to the semi-final. One game away from the World Cup final, which would be massive for women's football in general. And I think Phil Neville's coming across really good. I think he's I think out of this women's job, he's going to get I don't want to say a bigger and better job because he's managing his country. Don't matter what level it's at, but maybe he could get like a championship job in the future, or maybe even a Premier League job somewhere.
Ronnie Flick says, do you care about the women's games? To be honest, I don't know why I struggle to watch them.
Yeah, someone asked me this question the other day. Obviously, I haven't got the same love for the women's game as I has men's football. But look, it's got a market. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think, obviously, with the West Ham ladies as well, Jack Sullivan's taken over that and he's doing a fantastic job. They reached the FA Cup final last year, which was massive. Their first season in professional football. But yeah, look, there's a market for it. I'm the same. I'm not really I wouldn't say I'm not a lover of it, but it's just don't get the same feel as I do for men's football, and yeah, that's just that really. I'll probably get slated for that, but that's just my it's just my opinion.
Right, one to finish on. I'm going to let you choose it. Nick, how much of a role do you think Noble plays in the team? I see a lot of the boys quite critical of him, but I personally feel he's vital to the team. We can't seem to win without him. And Henry Hudson says, what are your expectations for the upcoming season?
I can answer both of them quickly. So the first one, Mark Noble. Look, you know my feelings on Mark Noble. Massive player. He has been for a long time now. He's a great captain, great role model for our youngsters, especially Declan Rice. I think it's good that Declan Rice looks up to players like Mark Noble. Every season he gets his critics. Every season he seems to prove them wrong. He puts in big performances when we need him. Is he going to be a regular next season if everyone's fit? Maybe not. But we know Mark Noble, even if he's on the bench, he'll come on and give us 110%. For the second one, my expectations for next season is to just do better than last season. We finished 10th. We had chances to go 7th and clinch that European spot, but we blew it. So just better than last season. If we can finish 8th next season, then that's progression. That's better. And obviously, we say it every year. We've been saying it for the last, well, I ain't been saying it for the last 40 years, but West Ham fans who were around in 1980. We need a good cut run, and we need to win a trophy. So if we can, the League Cup or whatever, I don't care. I'll take it.
Yeah. This is the very last one. Darren Clarkson, do you think Sully gets wind of the videos you post, for example, the Socios one?
We know the club watch our videos.
They watch all videos.
Yeah, not only West Ham Fan TV, they watch the Hammers chat. They watch everyone that does a bit of West Ham content. They watch it all. So, and we know that because Brady sort of told us that. They admitted it. So we know they watch it. So,
right. Thank you very much, Ryan. We'll leave it there. Thank you very much for tuning in to West Ham Fan TV, the Total West Ham Show, West Ham Fan TV Live. Thanks very much for hanging out in the chat with us. It's been loads of fun. We're trying to do these a couple of times a week now. We're going to try and improve them. We're getting people on. We had Kevin on last week, so go and check out last week's one. We've done 2 last week, didn't we? We're trying to do 2 a week.
Yeah, Monday. What's day today? Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah. It was Monday and Thursday last week. It'd probably be Tuesday and Friday. We're going to try and, I think, do Tuesdays and Fridays because I think they're the best 2 days for when the season starts to come along. Tuesdays and Fridays is a way. We're trying to get a guest on. I think we'll have a guest on Friday. Andrew Bass, thanks, big fella. Thank you very much for joining us in the chat. We'll leave it there. One thing left to say, Ryan.
Come on, you irons.
Come on, you irons.